Yay! Hello, hello. Woohoo! Welcome back to the Cultivate Your Squad Challenge. I am Mariah Young, the CEO of Gals. In case you haven't met me before, I like to say that I'm the chief of fun around here, although my team is pretty amazing at fun as well. So you are not in a bad place if you are looking for ladies to grow, learn, and have fun together with. And I'm sorry, I'm probably making all kinds of noise with these. Woohoo! I love my pom-poms. All right, as I get set up and kind of let you guys get on, I'm going to grab up my Facebook page here and make sure that we are live. Looks like we are. Make sure I turn down my sound so I can be watching and seeing the comments as they come. And I'm going to start sharing. So I got my outline printed out today, guys, so I shouldn't have to hop between sharing and not sharing as much today. It happens, right? We feel like we have to be perfect at these things, and I love showing how we're not, and it's okay. It's not the end of the world, so here we go. All right, so welcome, as I said, to the Cultivate Your Squad Challenge. We are on day 2. I am Mariah, and this is the signature self process, which Cultivate Your Squad is a part of. So I'm super excited to share this with you. Again, I just want to remind you that part of the process is to discover you, which is today's topic. Dump the junk, that'll be tomorrow, and design your ideal life, which will be Thursday. All of these topics are super important, and they all go together to help you to create the life you want and therefore cultivate the squad of lifelong drama-free support. That's the ultimate goal here. All right. So I want to share with you how I learned about exploring you, discovering you. So I mentioned yesterday that I really struggled with depression, and that's been many years ago now. But one of the things that I recognized in that struggle was that I didn't really know myself. This was a huge issue. So it was something that I had to actually be intentional about. I was reading a book. I can't even remember which one it was. It's not even one I would recommend, so it really doesn't matter. But it had a long list. I mean, an exhaustive list, pages and pages. Back then, we printed these things out of ideas for things that you could explore to get to know yourself better. And there were some pretty good ideas. And honestly, as I was looking through there, so much of it, I was just like, I don't even know if I like doing that. Like, I have no idea. Because, like I said, I was doing everything for everybody else, and I wasn't doing anything for myself. So while I was looking through this, kind of processing everything, doing a lot of work for myself, I realized I need a year of yeses. Have you ever felt that way before? I'm curious. My kids got to a point where they recognized that if they asked me a question and I said maybe, which was my most often answer, that it meant no. In fact, they would say that. Well, maybe just means no, Mom. And they were right. It usually did mean no. It was easy to give a maybe. It was harder to commit to a yes. And so therefore, oftentimes, along with struggling with my depression and all of that stuff, it was a no. So, of course, Yes Man came out. We watched that movie. I loved it. I was actually really inspired by that. But of course, I wanted to have balance. But I did really recognize I needed to say yes way more because I was pretty much saying no to everything. I was saying no to life. I would take time to research things, and I would do so much research that I would never do it. I did this with so many things, craft projects. I mean, I researched craft projects galore. I had so many ideas. I even collected so many things, but until I felt like I could do it perfect, I wouldn't do it. And so then I just never did. And I ended up with all these craft supplies, lots of recycled goods, everything for nothing. I didn't do anything with them. So I believe it was 2018. It might have been 2019. I got to actually look at my dates, but I had a year of yeses. So we went to Hawaii that year. That wasn't one of my yeses. We already had that planned, so that was beautiful. But one of my yeses was saying yes to snorkeling and going on a dolphin snorkel excursion. I won't lie, that scared me so much. I have a fear of boats, first off. Then I've watched way too many, like I've watched Jaws growing up. My dad, would read us these scary stories growing up about, beasts in the water and things like that. And it was very scary. I was the last one to get in that water. And even when I got in the water, there was a part of me that's like, I don't even want to know what's in there. I don't even want to know what's down there. But you know what's so cool is I did it. I said yes. And so crazy, I ended up being the person, the dolphins came up and swam behind me and they were right there. I had to push back because I was afraid. I was like, oh no, I'm going to get a fine. if I touch them, I learned it's okay if they touch me. But but it was so cool. They were literally like right there and they just went right by. The pod was sleeping, so they weren't super active, but it was amazing. What an experience. And I got to tell you, after that, I just wanted to snorkel all the time. I got in the water more in Hawaii than I have since my husband and I have been married. It was crazy how much I got in the water. We went and looked for turtles. We did so much. We pulled off on that boat into a little bay area to go and swim. And I even jumped off the top of the boat, like off the roof of the boat. What's really sad about this story is I've always thought of myself as an adventurous person, somebody who will say yes to anything. I mean, I was in the military, for goodness sakes. I've done so many crazy, amazing things. And yet I got to this place in my life where I was saying no to so much. So I really didn't even know who I was, like what I enjoyed. And so I went exploring. So this is what I want for you guys with this. Maybe you're not as extreme as I was. Maybe you're not at that place where you're just like, I say no to everything. I hope you're not. But maybe you do need to do some exploring because you do everything for everybody else, your family, your friends, all of that. And that's fine. You can do those. But make sure you're saying yes to you and looking for some things that you enjoy doing as well. When you start to design your ideal life, you're going to want to make sure that you put some of those things in there, the things that bring you joy, the things that you enjoy doing. And the cool thing is you might meet people who enjoy doing the same things. It's a really great way to meet people. All right. So let's remember, and this goes with this, believe it or not, who you surround yourself with is who you become. So surround yourself with amazing women. Now, I want you to right now, if you're watching live or the replay, shout out some women in your life who have helped you to be more adventurous. At this time, I had a seasonal friend. Sometimes people come in our lives for a season, sometimes they stay. But I did have a good, dear friend that I got close to for a little while, and we still keep in touch. But she pushed me like crazy. She was a single gal, double income kind of situation, and because she had a roommate, and she could just go and do things. And it was really great. She even at one point was like, how come you always say no? Or how come you always say maybe? And then it's a no, just like my kids. And I was like, you're right. I do. So she asked me to go to Florida. And I got to be honest, my immediate was like, oh, maybe. But she pushed me. And I was like, you know what? I talked to Alex about it. We saw no reason why not. My kids were older. We figured it out. And even if they were younger, we probably could have figured it out. And I went for a week with a friend to Florida, and we had so much fun. So Brianna Miller, she was the one who did that for me. I'm going to give her a shout out. She probably won't see this, but you never know, she might. But she is someone who really has pushed me to be more adventurous and to say yes more often. So who for you is someone that has pushed you to say yes? And then if you don't have someone like that in your life, might be time to think about possibly adding someone like that to your life. How do we do that? We'll talk about that later. All right. The goals, of course, for this challenge, going to just go through them again, is to stop living in the story that somebody else is narrating for you. That is being in a reactive state of life. You go with the flow. You just do what everybody says. You kind of go with what society tells you, maybe what your parents have told you, maybe what your friends have said that you should do, maybe what your church is doing. I've been there, done that. I get it. But when you start to recognize that you can write your story, and that's what we're going to focus on, is we're going to start writing your story. You get to choose where you are going and who are the characters in your story. This is your story. You are the main character. Did you know that? And then we're going to look at cultivating your squad. After we, of course, go through this process, the whole point of this challenge is to cultivate your squad. But if you don't know who you are, you don't do some of the healing work and setting up boundaries, and you don't design the life that you want, then it's really hard to get people who will surround you with support and who are in alignment with who you are and where you're going. So this work is vital. So, welcome to Discover You. We're going to go through a few really fun things on this one. This is they're all my favorites, even though the Dump the Junk is a little more meaty and a little more difficult work. They're all amazing. They're all my favorite because each one launches you forward in the next steps of your lives and helps you to start writing your story and deciding what you want from your life. So we're going to jump into personality types. I have a couple of free tests that you can take. They will have the links, will have the QR codes. If you're getting the email, it'll be in your email. So don't worry. It'll also be in the journal pages. If you're not signed up, that's okay. I have the QR codes. You can just use them on your screen. Or of course, it's not too late to sign up. We have the link in the description of this video if you want to get everything sent to you in email. We are going to look at what are your strengths, passions. What makes you unique? So first things first, why is discovering you so important? Self-awareness and authenticity. Oh my gosh, understanding who you truly are, including your strengths, passions, and values, allows you to be authentic in your interactions. And this authenticity attracts like-minded individuals who appreciate and support the real you, creating a genuine and supportive squad. Does that not sound amazing? It's so true. Clarity in relationships. Knowing yourself helps you identify the types of relationships that are beneficial for your growth and happiness. It allows you to set healthy boundaries and seek out connections that uplift and encourage you, ensuring that your squad is composed of positive influences. It's like when you buy a car and now you see all of those cars. Once you know yourself and what you want in life, you see the opportunities, you see the people, because you know what it looks like. I just realized we have a number 3 on all of these. That's funny. Oh, well. Confidence and empowerment. Oh, bummer. I thought I changed the video on this one. Oh, well. Self-discovery builds confidence and empowers you to take charge of your life. When you are confident in who you are, you can inspire and lead others, fostering a squad that is motivated, empowered, and driven towards a collective growth and success. Oh my gosh. This is something that we try really hard in Gals to practice what we preach, and is why we created GalaCon, which we're not going to talk about today. But man, we really, really have put together the idea of let's do this. Let's inspire. Let's, foster motivation and empowerment of each other. It is something we are so passionate about in Gals. All right, here we go. So here are some of the personality styles, guys. There are so many out there. There is no right or wrong one. I sold disc for several years and for a couple of years, and also taught it, helped facilitate things with it, and I love it. But it's not the end all be all. It's a really great one because it's personality and behavior. So I can usually come up with next steps for people. But there's some really other great ones out there too that are free. So in here, you will see that I have the 16 personalities. This is a really fun one because it actually puts it in characters, and I'm the protagonist. I love it. Then you have the creativity type. This is a really interesting one. The questions are almost like cartoons and they're kind of interesting. I actually did this one and I went through the questions and I created it for kids because I felt like we can so often, like, we get to a certain age and we think we're not like creative anymore, and it feels like it's almost about the teen age and a little bit older. And I wanted kids to take this one when I was an educational consultant because I wanted them to see that there's different types of creativity. So this one's really great. I am a visionary in this one. I'm sure that's no surprise at all. But then if you decide that you're like, hey, I like this, this is really good, I do have a consultation out there called the Design Your Life consultation, where we can take the 16 personalities, the creativity type, and in that consultation, it includes a DISC assessment. And that can really pull all three of these together. And our goal with that consultation is we usually come out with 3 next steps for whatever your life strategy is. So what I would suggest is if you wanted to do that one, get through this week so that you have some ideas of where you're heading. You know, we've looked at the Design Your Ideal Life. If you want to do that consultation, don't book it until after you, like, go ahead and grab it. You can book it because it's a calendar appointment thing, but don't book it until at least we've finished this week and maybe a week after, because especially with tomorrow's content, we have a lot of content that we're going to cover. You might want to give yourself some time to go through some of those things. But what we can do with these particular assessments is pull it all together and make sure that you have a solid plan for your next steps. That's where my gifting is, and I would love to help. So it's only $48. That includes the disc. It includes the recording of what we talk about and at least 3 next steps for strategy. All right. So here are our journal pages for today. So I apologize. I'm making sure. So, okay, cool. We got all that. In this daily journal today, I really want you to look at, yesterday we looked at your story. We will go back to your story a little bit tomorrow. But today, what I really want you to do is, do you feel like you are truly yourself? You remember my story? I did not feel like I knew myself at all. I didn't even know what things I liked. When I started to explore, I was looking at a list and it was a great list, but I was like, I don't even know if I like doing these things. So do you feel like yourself? Do you feel like you're truly being yourself? Do you feel like you even know what being yourself actually looks like? Do you know what it looks like to be authentically you? Maybe you don't. Sit down and think about that a little bit. What does that look like? What does that mean to you? Are you truly yourself? And maybe you are. Awesome. Maybe go ahead and just write what that looks like to you still. If you already know, that is amazing. You were way further ahead than I was. And then go ahead and look through. Now, these can be difficult to fill out for ourselves. In fact, I was just speaking with a client the other day, and they were telling me that they basically have been put down for their personality for the last 22 years of their life. And they are in ministry, which was so sad to me. So when we were talking about their strengths and the things they are passionate about, what makes them unique, and we actually did do a disc. So that was nice because they told me everything that is in this disc report is everything that I've been beat up for my entire life. And I just thought, oh my gosh, like, how terrible is it to be basically put down for who you are, for your personality? And when we got done, actually, it was my personality too. When we got done, I was hoping that they felt reassured because, obviously I'm biased because it is my personality as well. But I also just was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing personality. This is an inspirational person, a motivator, a persuader was the actual word that they got. Please see that your unique abilities are needed. So, all of ours are, whatever your personality is, your strengths, all of that, we need each person and their different personalities. So, if you've ever been put down for those things, well, let me just validate you right now. You are awesome. Maybe you haven't found your niche. Maybe you're not hanging out with the right people, which is what we're talking about. And so you need to look at your strengths and what makes you unique and different and your passions. And let's celebrate those things. So, in here, you will see that we have what are your strengths? Sometimes that's hard for us to call out for ourselves. So maybe you got to ask someone. I have had to do this where I've reached out and said, oh my gosh, what do you think my strengths are? That's okay. What are you passionate about? You know, what gets you excited? Or maybe what keeps you up at night? Maybe it's a positive passion. Maybe it's a negative passion. Maybe it's something that just eats at you and you don't like and you want to do something about it. What are those things? What makes you unique? You know what? I used to get in trouble for talking too much, for being way too loud, my overzealousness. Believe it or not, I got in trouble for that. But that is what makes me unique. It's why I'm an excellent MC, because I'm great at curating the right energy. It's what makes me fun, why people like to be around me. You know, I'm not always perfect at that, but let me tell you, that's what makes me unique, and it's great. So what makes you unique? What brings you joy? And if you feel like putting some of these in the comments right now, please feel free to do so. But what brings you joy? It's important to know that. What things that you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy to do? I enjoy doing a lot of things. I'm kind of that like jack of all. I want to do everything. Things that you would like to try. Are there any things you would like to try, like learn, anything like that? We would love to know. And of course, I just put a little bit of extra note space in there. You might come up with something you didn't write down before. So a little bit of extra note space. These, of course, will be in the folder that gets sent out to you as a follow-up email. I will add these as soon as I am done with this video. So again, I've been trying to keep them only each day so that you're not jumping ahead, because I want to make sure that you hear what I have to tell you about them before you do them. All right, next pages. Oh, I guess that's it. Okay, I was thinking about day 3. Day 3 has a few more pages. So do those pages. Put as much as you can think of. Don't stress about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a working document. And something I will share with you is this is my binder. This is what I have been working on with all of this signature self process. Now, when I work with somebody one-on-one, we do our group coaching. Actually, it's more of our group coaching. When I do group coaching, there's a lot more pages that we dive into. We do a timeline of your story, the good, the bad, the ugly. We do a lot of work on your roles and just different pieces to each of these steps. We even do some personal branding, your favorite colors, patterns, etc., because personal branding is important. We do a lot of stuff. And so I have you keep it in a binder. Even though we're not doing the group coaching curriculum right now, I would say get yourself a binder, print out. I made the printable pages as printable as I could so that they don't use too much ink, and keep them, because if you don't get it all done right now, that's okay. But also you might want to print off a couple of copies of each, because the thing is you, now that you know some of this stuff and you're learning it, you might not think of some of the things right this second, but you might think of them later. And so it becomes kind of this living document of your amazingness. So I highly suggest having a binder for that. All right, so let's have some fun. We have our scavenger hunt going on this week in cohesion with this particular challenge. We didn't exactly plan it that way. It was an oversight of mine, but you know what? It's fun. So share your favorite coffee with a friend picture. I will admit I am terrible at this. Oh my gosh, I always forget to take pictures. My best friend and I think we maybe have like 2 or 3 pictures, and we've been best friends forever. I mean, like our kids have grown up together. and we have like no pictures hardly. So I'm really bad. I actually tagged Dawn Renee in this post because I think she might have a picture of us because she's really good at that. It's like her gift. She is amazing at taking selfies. I always try to channel my inner Dawn Renee, but not as good at it as her. But make sure that you share your copy with a friend with us. Again, this also is promoting Cultivate your squad challenge. So we definitely want to make sure that this is just a fun part of what we do. And of course, if you participate with us, we're going to have a grand prize. I will be announcing that not today. I'm not announcing it till Thursday what it is, but interact, comment on the videos. I'll have a follow-up thread about what your ahas were for this video today. In fact, I believe that's the next slide. So this will actually be on our Facebook page. Post any aha moments that you had from today about discovering yourself. Tell us what you're going to do if you want to. Maybe put some of the stuff from the homework into this post. You know, what things do you enjoy? What are you passionate about? Anything that you feel like you want to share it with us, and it all adds up. Use the scavenger hunt, whatever you want to, however you want to interact and engage, will all go towards your participating to get entered into the grand prize at the end. All right, guys, that is everything I believe that I have for you today. It is. Yay. All right. We did good. So guys, ladies, gals, thank you for joining me. Let's make sure that we are continuing to straighten each other's crowns, celebrate each other, and of course, here we go. Let's see if I can get them. It's hard to get these handles. With love and pom-poms, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.